Welcome back to your #1 top for Dune Awakening, and today I'm going to be showing you how to farm you some bites in Haga Basin if you are a solo player, or maybe you got some friends that can help you out here, but specifically this is going to be for finding it without having to go to the deep desert, and something you can do alone. So let's just go ahead, jump into this, and let me show you how to farm some bites. So to start off here, there are a few things we need to get our hands on here, and some of it might be a little optional, but probably ideal to bring with you just in case here. So starting off here, we do have our radiation suit that you can go ahead and craft once you hit aluminum tier, and you can also get a Mark 5 inside of your Dune Awakening. I feel like every video I pronounce this a different way. Either way, the net tier after aluminum, you can get you a Mark 5, but a Mark 4 will work if that's all you have at the moment. The other item we need here is some fuel cells, ideally medium. So you need to probably have 2 or 3 of these, maybe, depending on how long you are planning to stay where we are going, since this is a little more random when the bites will actually spawn. So it's probably better to have a few of these on you just in case we end up hanging out where we're going a little bit longer than expected. And the next item we need is our static capacitor. So make sure you go to the trial to get this unlocked. So bring whatever the higher tier you might have on you. And then we need to go ahead and get us some soft step boots. And if you're not aware where you can actually farm these, you can go ahead and find it in the second zone. And you can find it inside of the testing station right here, testing station 13. So you can go ahead, hit this up, and in the final chest of the testing station, you can go ahead and get you a blueprint for the boots. And the next thing we need is, of course, a chopper. So make sure you go ahead and get your helicopter unlocked. Also, make sure you are filled up on water as well. So keep in mind where we're going to get extremely hot. So either bring some with you, maybe wear a steel suit, or you have a steel suit on you. But nonetheless, make sure you are hydrated and you have your helicopter unlocked. So once we go ahead and have them in hand, so the area we want to be going to here is over on the far left inside of Shield, however it's pronounced. And of course, the main reason we want to come to this area is because this area is the most open amount of sand, which in return will give us the highest chance of bites actually popping inside of Haga Basin. And as you can see, of course, or if you have already been out here, you will know this area is half radiated, half isn't, or maybe a little over half is radiated, which is why I said to bring your radiation suit just in case. But just know, bite will spawn pretty much everywhere in this area. Bet to be prepared just in case you do got to go into radiation. But once you go ahead and get to the area and you go ahead and start looking for bites here, you're going to be looking for a very Pacific look. And lucky enough for me, I do have some white in front of me here, which is of course the look you're looking for is the purple tint to the bites itself. So we're going to go ahead, just fly on over here. And of course, this is in radiation zone for me, so I need to go ahead and put on my radiation suit. And of course, you want to make sure you also have your booties on, especially if you're not in radiation. But in my case, I am, so I'm just going to keep the suit on just in case. But once again, make sure you have your soft belt boots on. Either way, we want to go ahead and also make sure our compactor is equipped. And we want to go ahead and hover our little chopper as close to the bites as we can, because once we set down and we start using our compactor here to bring up sand, as you can see here, we are of course in an area where the worm can indeed spawn. So you want to make sure you are close to your chopper as possible, so you can go ahead and make a break back to your chopper once the worm do show up, because it's a guarantee the worm will show up here. So just go ahead and try to get as many or how much sand as possible here before the worm get angry at you. and you will have to run back to your chopper. But lucky enough, with this type of farming here, with our chopper being so close, once the worm does show up, we can go ahead and run back to our ship. And as you can see, the worm is coming, so we're gonna go ahead, get back in our ship, and we're gonna go ahead and just fly up a bit. So once the worm calm down, we can go ahead and just directly drop back down and continue farming our bites. So that way to know when the worm is gone, as you can see from that red reticle or quail at the top of my compass blinking, that is called the worm. And once he have calmed down, it will go ahead and disappear, and we can just go ahead and fly back down and keep on farming the bites. So be prepared, it might take a few times here to collect all the bites, but nonetheless, this is the best course of action when it comes to farming the bites out here. So let's go ahead and collect all the bites, and lucky enough, the bites is not all that heavy, so you don't really gotta worry about taking up all your inventory room here from doing this. So that is really good. That the bites is very tangible and nowhere near as intensive as some other farming method here is. And from just doing one single bites hard from one explosion, ended up getting a little over 500, and from running this a few times myself, it looked like 500 plus is what you're going to be looking at per bites explosion inside of Haga Basin. But when it comes to actually finding out when the bites actually blow up, since obviously you can come out here, fly around, and have a chance to find it, but if you are building a base anywhere near the region, and you want to make sure you're not just hanging out here, maybe you got other stuff to do, but you want to make sure you do get your hands on a bite when it does pop, there is, of course, a very simple way to know when this is happening. You will notice a loud popping noise, and you will go ahead and you can go ahead and see the bites popping up out of the ground. As you can see, pretty much right in front of me is some bites popping by that purple smoke. And that's how you know when bites is popping up. Just know, pretty much as long as you are on the outskirts of this area, you will go ahead, hear it popping, as well as a possibility of seeing a shock wave to show you exactly in what direction the pop-up bites ended up happening in. So that is the best way to, of course, find you some bites in Dune Awakening. And hopefully you have found the video helpful in one way or another. If so, do the thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the bells below for any more Dune Awakening how-to guides, walkthroughs, and so much more. And of course, like always, I do want to give a giant shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel, either by hitting that wonderful join button here on YouTube, hitting up Patreon, or coming on over to twitch.tv/TroyMaconn, where I stream every single night starting at around 8 p.m. Central. And since we got a storm coming, I need to prepare for that. And of course, like always, I will go ahead and see you in the comments.